Hello, this is the luckiest maths teacher in the world. Thank you so much for tuning into this video in which we will use the quadratic formula to solve quadratic equations. So any quadratic equation can be written as ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. A, the number in front of x squared, b, the coefficient of x, and c, the constant term. So we can use this formula to find the solutions. Minus b plus or minus the square root of, you should recognize this as the discriminant, plus or minus square root of the discriminant over 2 times a. So there are potentially two solutions here, minus b plus the square root of the discriminant and minus b minus the square root of the discriminant. So let's look at an example in which we'll use this to solve a quadratic equation. So let's solve this equation. X squared plus 6x minus 3 equals 0. We can't use our factorization methods because we can't, at least not easily, find two numbers that multiply to negative 3 and add to 6. So we're going to use this formula to find the solutions. My advice is to always calculate the discriminant first, this thing under the square root sign. That will tell you even if there are any solutions and also make the calculation easier. So the discriminant here is b squared, so b is the number in front of x, minus 4 times a, number in front of x squared is 1, times c, the constant term. So if you put that in your calculator, you get 48. So because the discriminant's 48, because it's positive, there are two solutions. Because 48 is not a perfect square, both of them will be irrational. So what actually are the solutions here? Well, the solutions will be x equals minus b plus or minus the square root of the discriminant over 2 times a. So we will have one solution that's minus 6 plus root 48 over 2, and the other one minus 6 minus root 48 over 2. And then we're done. So let's look at another example. So 3x squared plus 14x plus 8 is equal to 0. So we're going to start again by calculating the discriminant. So it's b squared minus 4 times a times c. So the discriminant here is actually 100. So because the discriminant's positive, there will be two solutions. Now the discriminant here is a perfect square. 100's a perfect square, so both solutions will be rational. So those solutions will be x equals minus b plus or minus the square root of the discriminant over 2 times a. So let's simplify this. We have minus 14 plus square root of 100 over 6 minus 14 minus square root of 100 over 6. So minus 14 plus 10 over 6 gives us minus 2/3. That's rational because it's a fraction. And then minus 14 minus 10 over 6 gives us a solution of minus 4. And then we're done. So make sure you always use the discriminant first just to check if there are any solutions and because it makes it a lot easier to put in your calculator. Important that we know the quadratic formula because sometimes we won't be able to factorize a quadratic even though there are solutions. Sometimes it will just be really hard to factorize the quadratic. All right, thank you so much for tuning in. This has been the luckiest maths teacher in the world. Have a great day.